In Gaza, what could go wrong? Remember those Terminator movies? Yeah, turns out we're not far off. Israel's been using AI in Gaza, and it's about as messy and ethically questionable as you'd expect. We're talking drones, algorithms, and enough firepower to make Skynet blush. The whole thing started with good intentions, supposedly. Israel wanted to be more precise, minimize civilian casualties. But when you're talking about war, precision's a bit of a moving target, literally. And when the algorithms get it wrong, well, people die. This isn't some sci-fi dystopia, folks. This is happening right now. And it's only going to get more complicated, more automated, and a hell of a lot more dangerous. So buckle up, because we're about to dive headfirst into the terrifying world of AI warfare. Just try not to think about the robots taking over while you read this. Let's meet the players, shall we? First up, we've got the Gospel. Catchy name, right? It's an AI system that analyzes surveillance data to identify potential targets. Think of it as Facebook for terrorists, except instead of getting ads for beard oil, you get blown up. Then there's Lavender, which helps predict where rockets might land. Because nothing says peaceful coexistence like an algorithm telling you your neighborhood's about to get obliterated. And last but not least, we have Where's Daddy? This charming piece of software identifies the social networks of suspected militants. Why? So Israel can target their families and friends, of course. Because collective punishment totally isn't a war crime or anything. These three systems work together, feeding information to each other and to human analysts. It's a beautiful symphony of surveillance, data analysis, and good old-fashioned human error. Now, before you start picturing robots autonomously launching missiles, let's be clear. There are still humans in the loop. For now. The idea of autonomous weapon systems might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but the reality is a bit more grounded. Human oversight is still a crucial part of the process, ensuring that decisions are not left entirely to machines. The AI systems provide recommendations, but it's up to human analysts to make the final call on who gets targeted. Sounds reassuring, right? These AI systems are designed to assist, not replace, human judgment. They analyze vast amounts of data, identify patterns, and offer suggestions that might not be immediately obvious to human eyes. However, the final decision rests with the human operators, who must weigh the AI's input against their own experience and intuition. Except, imagine you're an analyst, staring at a screen full of data points and heat maps, with an algorithm whispering in your ear, kill them all. The pressure is immense. You're bombarded with information, and the AI's cold, calculated suggestions can be chilling. It's a high-stakes environment where every decision could mean life or death, and the weight of that responsibility is crushing. It's not exactly conducive to rational decision-making. The stress and urgency can cloud judgment, making it difficult to think clearly. The AI's recommendations, while based on data, lack the nuance and empathy that human decision-making requires. This can lead to hasty, ill-considered actions that have devastating consequences. Plus, these analysts are under immense pressure. They're working long hours, often with little rest, in environments where the stakes couldn't be higher. The constant stress takes a toll on their mental and physical health, leading to fatigue and burnout. They're working long hours in high-stress environments with the weight of knowing that their decisions have life-or-death consequences. Every choice they make is scrutinized, and the fear of making a mistake is ever present. The AI's presence, rather than alleviating this burden, often exacerbates it, adding another layer of complexity to an already challenging situation. It's a recipe for disaster, and the AI is just adding fuel to the fire. The combination of human stress and AI's cold logic can lead to catastrophic outcomes. Miscommunications, misinterpretations, and the sheer pressure of the moment can result in decisions that are regretted almost immediately. So, yeah, humans are still making the decisions, but let's not pretend the AI isn't influencing their every move. The AI's suggestions are pervasive, subtly guiding the decision-making process. Even when analysts try to rely on their own judgment, the AI's input is always there, a constant presence that can't be ignored. But let's not pretend the AI isn't influencing their every move. The AI's recommendations can be persuasive, especially when they align with the data. Analysts might find themselves second-guessing their instincts, wondering if the AI knows something they don't. This can lead to a dangerous over-reliance on the technology where human judgment is overshadowed by machine logic. It's like playing chess with a supercomputer that keeps suggesting you sacrifice your queen. The AI's strategies might be sound from a purely logical standpoint, but they often lack the human touch, the understanding of context and consequence. In the end, it's a delicate balance between human intuition and machine intelligence, and finding that balance is the real challenge. Section 4. Oops, collateral damage or just bad math?
Here's the thing about algorithms. They're only as good as the data they're trained on. In the world of modern warfare, data is king. Algorithms are designed to process vast amounts of information, making split-second decisions that can mean the difference between life and death. And when that data is biased, incomplete, or just plain wrong, the consequences can be catastrophic. Imagine a scenario where a single piece of faulty data leads to a chain reaction of errors. Well, things can go very wrong very quickly. A miscalculation here, a misinterpretation there, and suddenly, a mission that was supposed to be precise and surgical turns into a disaster.
Critics argue that Israel's AI systems are riddled with errors. They claim that these systems, while advanced, are not infallible. Human rights organizations have documented numerous instances where the technology has failed. They point to instances where civilians have been misidentified as militants, leading to tragic outcomes. Innocent people, going about their daily lives, suddenly find themselves in the crosshairs. Homes have been destroyed because of faulty data, leaving families homeless and communities shattered. The ripple effects of these mistakes are felt far and wide, and entire families have been torn apart by algorithms that couldn't tell a terrorist from a taxi driver. The emotional and psychological toll on these families is immeasurable.
Israel, of course, denies these claims. They maintain that their AI systems are among the most advanced in the world, designed to minimize collateral damage and protect civilian lives. They say their AI is super-duper accurate, and that any civilian casualties are just an unfortunate consequence of war. According to them, the technology is constantly being refined and improved. You know, like stubbing your toe on the coffee table while bombing a hospital. It's a darkly humorous analogy, but it underscores the gravity of the situation.
But here's the problem. It's almost impossible to hold anyone accountable when things go wrong. The chain of responsibility becomes murky, and the blame game begins. Was it a human error, an algorithm malfunction, or perhaps a combination of both? The lines blur, and finding the root cause becomes a daunting task. Or just a healthy dose of whoops, our bad. In the end, the victims are left to pick up the pieces, while the debate over the role of AI in warfare rages on. Section 5. Israel says, trust us, it's fine, mostly.
Israel's defense of their AI usage boils down to a few key points. They emphasize the sophistication and precision of their AI technology, which they claim is designed to minimize errors and ensure that only legitimate military targets are hit. First, they claim that their AI systems are incredibly accurate and only target legitimate military objectives. They argue that the advanced algorithms and real-time data processing capabilities of their AI systems allow for pinpoint accuracy in identifying and engaging targets. Second, they argue that AI actually reduces civilian casualties by making their operations more precise. By using AI to analyze vast amounts of data and predict potential collateral damage, they believe they can avoid unnecessary harm to civilians and infrastructure. And finally, they insist that they're committed to international law and ethical considerations. They highlight their adherence to strict rules of engagement and their efforts to ensure that their AI systems operate within the bounds of international humanitarian law. They're basically saying, look, we're the good guys here. They want the world to see them as a responsible and ethical military force that uses cutting-edge technology to protect lives and uphold international standards. We've got robots with morals, okay? They assure us that their AI systems are programmed with ethical guidelines and are constantly monitored to prevent any misuse or unintended consequences. What could possibly go wrong? They downplay the risks and potential for malfunctions, insisting that their systems are foolproof and that any issues can be quickly addressed.
Of course, they conveniently ignore the fact that their definition of legitimate military objectives seems to include schools, hospitals, and residential buildings. Despite their claims of precision and ethical considerations, there have been numerous reports of civilian infrastructure being targeted and destroyed. And let's not forget about the whole collective punishment thing, which, last time we checked, is still frowned upon by the international community. The use of AI in warfare raises serious ethical and legal questions, especially when it comes to the treatment of civilian populations. So, forgive us if we're not entirely convinced by their arguments. The international community remains skeptical, and many experts warn that the use of AI in warfare could lead to unintended consequences and escalate conflicts. It's a bit like trusting a fox to guard the henhouse, especially when that fox has a history of, eating chickens. The track record of military operations and the potential for AI to be misused or malfunction make it hard to fully trust these assurances. History has shown us time and again that technological advancements in warfare often come with unforeseen consequences. The promises of precision and ethical conduct are often overshadowed by the harsh realities of conflict and the suffering of innocent civilians. As the debate over the use of AI in warfare continues, it's crucial for the international community to hold military forces accountable and ensure that these technologies are used responsibly. The potential benefits of AI must be weighed against the risks and ethical implications. Ultimately, the goal should be to protect human lives and uphold the principles of international law. Trusting military forces to self-regulate their use of AI is not enough. There must be robust oversight and accountability mechanisms in place. Only then can we hope to harness the power of AI for good and ensure that it serves to promote peace and security rather than exacerbate conflict and suffering.